Hi everybody, I'm Bob Frey, and I'd like to welcome you to the latest in the series of tapes from the Diamond P Home Libraries and They Walked Away Extreme. What you're about to see is a collection of some of the most fantastic shots from the Diamond P Libraries. These have been culled from films from all over the world, and they include some of the most spectacular footage from the world of motorsports. This includes a lot of drag racing, Winston Cup, sprint cars, even those swamp buggies, motorcycles, and some stuff from those fantastic hydroplanes as well. Now, I'd like you to remember the name of the series, and They Walked Away Extreme. So while some of the crashes do look extreme and they are spectacular, remember in each incident, the driver survives the odds and he walked away. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the latest creation from the folks at Diamond P Sports. This is Al Hoffman in the near lane at the Mac Tools Gatornationals 97. One of the most horrendous accidents we've seen on the NHRA Drag Racing Tour, Al Hoffman wins the 1997 Mac Tools Gatornationals. As they say, if he's the winner, I'd hate to see the loser.
Car was on a good run. It wasn't doing anything stupid. It wasn't a tune-up problem. It basically just broke the crank in half about somewhere right around 1,000 foot down there. And I hit the chutes, but the fire was so intense because when it broke the crank, it took the front of the motor off and all the fuel lines just sprayed the fuel all over. And when the chutes did come out, I mean, it just evaporated behind the car. There was nothing left. So, you know, I mean, trying to get the speed scrubbed off, I was trying to keep the car away from the guardrail, and once we got into the grass, it basically just sucked the car into the guardrail, and once it got on top of it, it started barrel rolling, and that next thing I knew, I was on my way to the hospital.
Did he say barrel roll? Watch this. Bob Glidden, NHRA's winningest pro driver, not only got out of this, walked away, but came back in 1986, the same year as this incident in Atlanta, and walked away with another Winston championship. His wife Ed on the starting line could only hope that the safety safari folks would get there and that Bob would indeed get out unscathed. To this day, if you ask Bob Glidden, he will tell you that he's not exactly sure what went wrong. Although for a guy that made as many runs down the racetrack as he did, this is certainly extreme.
I don't know what happened. I felt the back of the car come up and it went over, and I just put my arms around my head and I was just in there riding along.
I hope Etta knows that you're okay.
I'm sure she does, but now I'm waiting for her to get down here. She'll surely be here before long.
And indeed she was, as always, right there by his side. Pro stock can be hazardous whether you've won 10 Winston championships or looking for your first. That's Brad Klein. He is sponsored by the folks at Danka Copiers. Even they wouldn't want a copy of this run. Watch again as he gets near the center of the racetrack and tries to correct, and that was probably his first mistake. Goes over and tags the wall. When it comes to those walls, you can win or lose. You just don't want to tie. At least when you run on the asphalt, you know the track is always going to be underneath you. Can't say the same about these guys. Scott Pierce at the Bud Thunderbolt Championships. At least it wound up right side up. Everything was going along so well for Scott until this happened. Well, we've had asphalt, we've had water, now we've got mud. And we've got Chris battling on the far lane. And Chris has got big trouble. A, he asked Dad if he could borrow his Jeep for the night. B, he's got that thing all upside down. And C, he's left kind of hanging all by himself. They mandate roll bars in these things, and that's why he was able to walk away. Of course, the bump on the noggin didn't help when it got him out of his harness. You'll see this again. The term is he hooks a rut. That means he's got trouble. Big trouble. Watch the little nitrous bottle come out, and that baby's going all over the place. Excuse me, Chris, aren't you supposed to have 4 wheels on that thing? His number 10 car. Now, I don't go to the world of outlaw races a lot, but I don't believe you're supposed to do this. And I know you're not supposed to do that. On the bright side, he's got 4 wheels on that thing. As you can tell, the key to a successful racing venture is keep all 4 wheels firmly on the ground. Excuse me, Tom. I said keep all 4 wheels firmly on the ground. And away from the wall. And all pointed in the same direction. And all rolling. Hopefully. Not a great day at the office for NHRA's Tom Hoover. The safety safari guys right there to make sure that he was able to walk away. Excuse me, Tom, you forgot your body. Now, if you watch this, it looks like the guy in the far lane's got problems. He does, but nothing compared to Tom Hoover's. Look at the eyes on the front of Kenji Okazaki's car in the far lane. Not taking his eyes off of Tom Hoover. Now you say you want the working definition of extreme? Well, I think that qualifies. This is Don the Snake Renault, one of the legends in NHRA drag racing on the far lane. This is called a top fuel blowover. Would have made a good name for this new series of tapes. Talk about feeling helpless. The chassis and the roll cage on these top fuel dragsters are designed to withstand impacts like that. like that. Kind of made Chris Fadling's run look like a stroll in the park, didn't it? On the spot again, the safety safari, just in time to see the legend, Don Prudhomme, jog away. Keep your eye on the car in the near lane. Bruce Pedregon out in Pomona, California, made a mess of the Mickey D's car. Take a look at this again in replay. Now watch what happens to Cruz in the near lane, but keep your eye on the car in the far lane. Bam! Whacked by the body. He needed some of those eyes that Kenji had on his yellow car a while ago. Now watch Mark Tate. You say, which one's Mark Tate? That one's Mark Tate. I see a pattern developing with these hydroplanes. Hey boys, don't turn left. You get in trouble when you turn left. Hey, you want to make a note of this? You could win some nice prizes at the end of the tape. Yeah, right. Rob Marshall was having such a great time at the Spring Jamboree out in Lima, Ohio until this happened. But Rob crawled away. Now we'll look at this again on replay, and I'd like to tell you what went wrong. I'd like to tell you, but I don't know. All I know is if you're going to the Spring Jamboree, don't do this. They race all kinds of neat stuff out there in Lima. Kurt Dabney in his truck during qualifying. Talk about extreme. Not only was the run, but the damage. It took Kurt a full year to put this truck back together again. And I think I know why. You say you'd like to see some motorcycles? How about Daytona Beach? Doesn't get much better than that. Unless you're those two guys. Get over those little bumps and stay away from the other guys. I said stay away from the other guys. It's Pro Stock, it's Rick Marino. Doing his world-famous Bob Glidden impersonation, but hey, at least he stayed away from the other guy. That's got to be about as helpless a feeling as a driver could have. Nobody has a better safety team than the NHRA and their famous safety safari. They got to Rick, checked him out, got him out of the car, and he walked away. So you want to go road racing? So did Jack Baldwin, Scott Pruitt. And the key? You guessed it. Stay away from the other guy. Oh, and the walls. Did I mention staying away from the walls? Right here, guys, I have two very important words for you. Turn signals. Reminds me of trying to teach my teenage daughter to drive. Boy, I wish I knew exactly what happened there.
I think maybe Scott lost control of his the control of himself and his race car. There's a real lot of character for him. I'm surprised. I pulled up beside him, and he just drilled me. He just put me in, and I mean, we're going down the straightaway and we're side by side, and we were absolutely nose to nose, and he just turned left and stuffed me in.
We came out of the corner together. I was under power real hard, pretty much sideways. And I believe we came together, and he touched the wall, and I kept on going. It's just real unfortunate. I've kind of prided myself on being a nice, clean driver. It's happening in Trans Am, and now it's moving over to here. And you don't really want to be a crybaby, but you can't really keep putting up with this stuff forever.
Keep your eye on the car in the near lane, which will soon be the car in the far lane. Again, the men and women of the NHRA Safety Safari are right there. And Tiffany, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Be careful. I tried to warn her, didn't I? Tiffany, part of a brother-sister team that drives. You can see the engine goes. She gets stuff under the tires, and it's not good to have stuff under the tires. Actually has the engine come completely out of the race car. And can't steer when those front wheels are doing that. That happened so quick. Let's see that from another angle. Here he comes. He's going to start bouncing the ball tire, and that's bad. Especially when your bike winds up in the bales. Here's Johnny West in the near lane at Englishtown, New Jersey. You think the worst of it is over? Well, watch the bonsai car. You think Johnny took that sign a little bit too literally? He would come out, slam the wall about 50 feet off the starting line, and immediately get knocked unconscious. The throttle would hang up on the race car, and it would drive all the way down to the far end of the track at Englishtown. Johnny West would come back from this, drive fuel funny cars again, and to be a part of some of the more successful funny car teams on the NHRA Winston Trail. None of them, however, would have the name Bonsai. And talk about taking signs too literally. Read this one at the end of the track. Now, Johnny, this is taking things to the extreme. So you're sitting at home saying, hey, Diamond P, I love Renault Cup racing from Riverside. How about some Renault Cup racing? Well, ta-da! That's John Williamson, who flips his Renault, lands it on all fours. And what's he do? He gets out and runs away because he wanted to talk to Brock Yates.
We're riding in third place, making a move. Looked like you were running real strong, and then all of a sudden looked like maybe you got squeezed up against the wall.
Well, what had happened was I'd gotten on the inside of John Norris, and I worked my way out to the wall, and I thought I'd already passed him, and indeed I hadn't passed him, and you know, I apparently wedged him between myself and the wall, and there was no place for me to go except go head on in the wall, and I got like getting shot out in space.
John, I got two words for you. You got it. Turn signal. Nothing like handlebars to the ribs to ruin your day at the motocross. As we say in the TV biz, let's see that from another angle, Bob. Ooh, baby. If you ever decide to go road racing, here's what not to do with your Corvette. Throttle hangs open and the driver winds up among the trees and the spectators and the ferns. I'm not sure, but I don't think your anti-lock brakes work going backwards. Well, at least his didn't. Oh, good. Another quiz, another quiz. Oh, I know this one. Call on me, please. Speaking of NASCAR, here we are at Charlotte. Not a Jaguar to be seen. Let's take a look at this again, and how many people think the 3-car caused this? That's what I thought. Excuse me, Mark, you're going the wrong way. Of course, so are a lot of your friends. That's Gary Ritter out at Sonoma, California in the wine country. Right about now, his favorite wine is, "My car's on fire." That could be a driver's worst nightmare. But the NHRA Safety Safari would be there, and Gary would get out of the car. I said Gary would get out of the car. Yo, Gary, get out of the car! And he tripped away. Man, it's warm out here. Wish they'd do something to cool this place off.
I was trying to get the seatbelt off me. I was hung up on the shoulder, and I was about to panic. I was running out of air because I didn't get a chance to take a deep breath of air before that stuff got on me. When I came out, after I got loose, and first thing I did was raise the visor and get me a gulp of air, and then I rolled off the top, and then I felt the guardrail, and I rolled over the guardrail and just lay on the ground. I was trying to get some air.
We're glad to see you're okay.
Oh, I was glad everybody was there. I mean, to get me. They helped out a lot.
And then they hosed you down, Gary. You forgot about the part about they hosed you down. Well, if you build a boat that looks like an airplane, what do you think's going to happen? The ironic part about this is they built this hull with this design so that this wouldn't happen. Excuse me, in the unlikely event of a water landing, your boat will not become a flotation device. Watch the car in the near lane. If you're racing your top fuel car, you don't want to do this. Tommy Johnson Jr. would get out of the car. The crowd would go wild. He would look at the back of the car and say, there used to be these two great big tires back here. I'm pretty sure they were. Tommy, what'd you think of that run?
Pretty decent. Had the front end up a little bit. Smoked the tires, lifted, and yeah, next thing I know, the car was going sideways. I big kaboom, and I couldn't tell what happened.
You don't appear to be any worse for wear?
Nah, just a little anger.
That's a pretty good old drag race you guys had here today. It's a tough way to lose.
Yeah, it's been a great weekend, you know, and it's just a shame this had to happen. But spare cars in the upper deck. We'll be at Memphis ready to go.
And And he was raced at Memphis 2 weeks later. That shows you that boat stuff can happen to even the very best of them. That's Chip Hanauer. Now these boats are designed to protect the driver in case they do get upside down. And as we've seen here on Atwood Extreme, these boats do get upside down. That looked harmless enough until his bike started doing that. And then he started doing that. You'd think his friends would stop and help him a little bit. Don't you just hate it when your wheels beat you to the finish line? And how'd you like to be the guy in the other lane? He got beat by a guy with no rear wheels. Well, technically he had rear wheels, they just weren't on the vehicle at the time. If you're running your AMA Superbike, make sure you don't hit any oil on the track. And the rider ran away. Why? Because he knew he wasn't the only guy that was going to hit the oil on the track. That guy hit it. And so would that guy. And he ran away. Boy, does that look like fun. That doesn't. Watch this again. Now the key here is not what happens to the boat. It's to the cameraman we have running along the shore trying to keep up with him. Hey, those guys big bucks here at Diamond P. Excuse me, cameraman. Cameraman, go back. And you know what else Richard and Dale have in common? They never raced a Jaguar. This is R.C. Sherman at Baton Rouge down in Louisiana. And this certainly qualifies for extreme. Take a look at this, you'll know why we have such great respect for the rules makers at the National Hot Rod Association. RC does just about everything wrong. Hits the wall, bursts into flames, flips the car over, and he escaped unscathed. Now that's one tough race car. The driver ain't too bad either. The Diamond P cameras have caught some magnificent footage at NHRA Winston Championship drag races over the years. None probably any more spectacular than what you're about to see. This is Kenny Bernstein, the king of speed. Keep your eyes on the red car in the far lane. One of the most bizarre and extreme incidents we've ever seen in a top fuel dragster. The car and chassis did exactly what they're designed to do. The engine tore away behind Kenny, got all the engine and the oil and the fire away from the driver. Watch it now. You'll see something go wrong. Something goes terribly wrong with the Budweiser King. And at this point, Kenny is just along for the ride. Kenny Bernstein would walk away from this accident and come back later and become the first driver to win the NHRA Winston Championship in Top Fuel and Funny Car. And he did get out of the car and talk with Steve Evans.
Kenny, you're indeed okay?
I'm okay, Steve. Tell everybody I'm fine. I'm bell rung a little bit. Kind of feel like a NASCAR Cup car driver here at Atlanta, but not too bad.
Hey, I said he'd talk with Steve. I didn't say it made a lot of sense. You gotta love those chassis builders. We'll watch this one in slow motion. Same thing happened, it just took a little bit longer that way. They love their sprint cars at Williams Grove. Why? Because they do that. Excuse me, sir, you're going the wrong way. Well, one of them is. It's a restart. Why'd they have to restart? Because they wrecked the first time they started. I see a pattern developing here in old Williams Grove. What do you think? Maybe that's why they're so popular? All right, now remember what I told you about Supercross racing. The key to success? Jump those bumps and stay away from the other guys? Well, the same thing holds true right here, except for that jumping the bumps part. But you still got to stay away from the other guy. And as extreme as this racing seems to be, these cars are so well built, the driver would walk away. Well, that is, after they untangled him, got him away from the other guy, and got him upright, got him out of the car, then he'd walk away. This is Andy Hillenberg in the number 2 car. He gets mixed up with Todd Kane. Kane then gets out and goes over and talks to Brock Yates. You thought Brock just went to those Renault races.
They get a Rutger somewhere back there and just kind of got him sideways, and then like Jack was there and I was there. I had nowhere to go. I just drove right into it.
Was were you flat out? I mean, were you coming? You were running hard, huh?
Yeah.
You guys tend to start about on turn 2 here.
Coming out of turn 2. I mean, because all bunched up. I thought they were going, so I went for it. Maybe that's the time I should have kind of relaxed. If I could do relax here. Then
you're with the back, yeah. Well, I'm glad you're okay. That's what's most important right now.
Right, it is. Thanks.
Say you're welcome, Brock. All right, folks, all together now. If you've been paying attention, what's the key to being a successful motocross rider? Thank you. Stay away from the other guy. Last one up's a rotten egg. That'd be Billy Frank. That would be Jeff Ward. Captain of the red team, meet the captain of the green team. You can call in the air. Actually, nobody's in the air. Here's Dover, and this is why they call it the Monster Mile. Excuse me, sir, you're going the wrong way. How many people think the number 3 car caused this? That's what I thought. You know what? The number 3 car wasn't even there. And ladies and gentlemen, we have saved the most extreme for the last. This is Jerry Caminito. At 280 miles an hour, Jerry Caminito would slam the wall in Memphis, Tennessee. But thanks to the rules that are instituted by the National Hot Rod Association, the design and the construction of his race car, Jerry Caminito would come back and race fuel funny cars again. We'd like to take a moment to thank all of the sanctioning bodies for the rules that they make and enforce, all the safety manufacturers for the equipment that they make for the drivers and the pilots. And we'd like to thank the safety teams that are there at each and every race, that are there just in case something really extreme happens to the riders. This has been a presentation of Diamond P Sports.